The Texas legislature will vote on hundreds of bills each session. Often those debates can get overlooked, even on critical legislation. That's why we've asked legislators to come to TPPF to talk about their bills to make sure you stay on top of the most important issues making their way through the Capitol. This is The Layout. I'm Dustin Matocha, Campaign Director for the Alliance for Opportunity campaign, and I'm here with Senator Bryan Hughes and Representative John Smithee. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Today we're discussing Senate Bill 1299 and House Bill 3116, legislation to require state agencies to conduct efficiency audits. Tell us, I'll start with you, Senator Hughes, and then give you, Representative Smithee, a chance to respond. Tell us about the problem you're trying to address with this bill.
Texas has a relatively low tax burden. That's good. It needs to be lower, but compared to other states, we're doing pretty well. But what about the money we are spending? We're spending a lot of money for services for Texans. We want to make sure that's being spent well, make sure the money's going to the right place, and it's accomplishing the goals it's intended for. So we want to make sure the tax burden stays low, but for the money Texans are spending, what are they getting in return for those dollars?
Excellent.
Well, you know, every state agency and department has a clientele, someone that it serves. Some agencies, like driver's license, for instance, that's everybody. Other agencies serve a particular clientele. And what we want to make sure is that if we were a private business, that we could stay in business, that people would keep coming to our business. And that's one thing you don't have in government, because you typically don't have that accountability that you see in private enterprise. And so, like the senator said, we want to make sure that we're getting our money's worth, the taxpayers' money's worth for everything that the state government does.
Being good stewards, I love it. Yeah. Can you walk us through the bill? But first, what exactly is an efficiency audit?
Well, my understanding of how this would work, I think we have to go back like to the mid-'80s when President Reagan authorized the Grace Commission with Peter Grace to study the efficiency of the federal government. There were some great ideas from that commission. Unfortunately, most of those never got into law, but this private commission was able to really identify how government could be more efficient, more responsive to people. And I think that's kind of the concept that we're talking about here. And that is, we're going to say every 6 years we would have an audit, a private auditor come in who's not in government, and would come in and view this, each agency, each department, as if it were a business, and say, are you serving the people that you're supposed to be serving? What is your customer or your client satisfaction ratio here? Are the clients being served, and are they satisfied with the service they're being provided? That will be very helpful information to the legislature. I think Senator would agree. That would be very helpful to us to know how these agencies are responding.
Sounds like you're trying to make sure taxpayers get the biggest bang for their buck.
That's exactly right. Representative Smithee put it very well. If the state were a business, would we stay in business? Are we providing a service at a price? Is it working like it's supposed to work? That's a great way to put it.
Excellent. Well, if you're like me, when you first heard about this concept, you probably thought to yourself, well, doesn't the sunset process already do this? How would you respond to those who raise that concern?
Sunset process is great. Most states do not have it. The feds certainly don't have it. So under the sunset process, every agency, every program, every 12 years comes under review. They'll look at the whole program. Do we still need it? How's it working? Is it being duplicated elsewhere? That's very important. The efficiency audit, though, is more specific. It's about efficiency. Is the money being spent wisely? And about effectiveness. Is it accomplishing the goal? Our bill proposes these audits be done every 6 years. Sunset is every 12 years. These would be every 6. So we believe they complement each other very well.
Excellent. Efficiency audits aren't typically a kitchen table conversation, even for a policy nerd like I am. How does this affect my life and my fellow Texans' lives if this bill passes?
Well, I'll give you one example. I was on an airplane. I live in Amarillo, flying from Austin to Amarillo 2 years ago during the session. The man sitting next to me lived in Dallas, and he was flying to Amarillo to get his driver's license. And the reason was because he couldn't get an appointment in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for several weeks, but he could get an appointment in Amarillo.
Wow.
And so a driver's license is something that's pretty basic. And so I think that average people, they pay taxes to the state, and I think that we're entitled to know that they're being served well and efficiently with the resources we have available.
Improving outcomes. I love it. What kind of reaction have you received after filing this bill?
Folks are encouraged about this. Representative Smithee's example is a perfect one. We'd like to see a situation where most folks don't have to interact with state government very much. But when they do, when they need it, it needs to be there, it needs to be done well and efficiently. That's really what this is about.
Awesome.
Well, I serve at the lowest rung of state elective office, and Senator Hughes is at the next lowest rung, slightly above mine. The good news and the bad news of both is that we hear people's complaints. And first of all, nobody wants to hear somebody's complaint, but the good news is that if there's a problem, we're the first to know. And we because we're in our local areas, we know about the complaints, and so that helps. But this audit will even go deeper than that, and not only hopefully tell us what the problems are, but maybe how we can correct those problems and become more efficient in what we do.
Excellent. Senator Hughes, Representative Smithee, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.